Charlie Kirk killed in Utah. The reactions pouring in around the nation and here at home as his killer remains at large.
Plus, the Niederland family is without a home after a house fire, where it started and how you can help them recover.
And we are learning more about the allegations against the suspended Pinehurst police chief, the concerns that were brought to the city. 12 News Daybreak starts now.
Good morning, Southeast Texas. Thanks for waking up with Daybreak here on 12 News Plus. I'm Tia Johnson.
And I'm Mark Armstrong. Your time's now 7:01, so let's go ahead and get a first look at your weather with meteorologist Jeff Gerber. And here's a live look outside from our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network above the 12 News studio here in Beaumont. Jeff, how's it looking out there today?
A lot like we saw yesterday and the day before, except maybe not quite as cool. Temperatures have dipped down into the 60s in a couple locations. Jasper at 68 now, and Beaumont we're showing 69, but generally into the lower 70s. From 71 in Kirbyville, 73 through Silsbee and Orange, 72 in Woodville. Get a little bit closer to the coast. It's a little warmer there in Port Arthur at about 77. Outside, we have mostly clear skies as we look down towards I-10. As we look at our day planner, we're expecting highs today up there around 93 to about 94. So it's going to be a hot afternoon once again. Partly to mostly sunny skies. Looking pretty good with an east wind at 3 to 8. More dry weather ahead. We'll have a look at your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Jeff. Flags in Southeast Texas and at the White House are flying at half-staff this morning for Charlie Kirk. The conservative youth activist was shot and killed in Utah yesterday. The governor of Utah called Kirk's death a political assassination. The 31-year-old was speaking at Utah Valley University when the single shot rang out. This morning, the FBI confirms the suspect is still out there.
Yeah, thousands. They were in that crowd watching as a witness recalled the horrific scene.
I was 15 feet away, and it was really hard to witness. As the guy said shooting or shooters or something like that, you just hear the gunshot and I'm sorry, you just see his neck just like open up and there's just like so much blood that just came out. It was horrible.
Now in Washington, lawmakers had a moment of reflection, the silence quickly turning into a shouting match, with one GOP lawmaker requesting the prayer be said out loud while Democrats shouted for gun safety legislation. Now, meanwhile, in a video last night, President Trump blamed Democrats for the violence.
But nationwide, we've seen political violence on both sides of the aisle, from Minnesota to Pennsylvania and Capitol Hill. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
This morning, the murder of Charlie Kirk is heightening concern about the rise in cases of political violence across the country.
Our nation is broken, and I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Then candidate Trump was shot at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania last year. An audience member, firefighter Corey Comparator, was killed. Months later, a second attempt on Trump's life at his Florida golf course. The suspect is now on trial. This past June, a Minnesota state representative and her husband were shot and killed in their home. And in April, police say a man tried to kill Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, setting his home on fire.
This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. It is not okay, and it has to stop.
This year, threats against members of Congress are surging, with nearly 14,000 compared to 9,000 during all of last year. Many are asking, is the political temperature too hot? And is social media adding fuel to the fire?
A lot of it has to do, I think, with a fragmented media landscape. People can express their views on social media freely. And I think that breeds a certain amount of incivility and division.
Historian Mark Updegrove compares today's political divisions to the 1960s.
We saw the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963, Malcolm X in 1964, and Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy in 1968. It shook this country to its very foundations. And it was a time of great change and upheaval. Eventually, we came out of it. But I think we saw then that political violence was not the answer to our problems.
And here at home, the reactions, they are coming in from Southeast Texan Republicans.
Yeah, Jefferson County Republican Party Chair Joe Evans condemning the violence, calling Kirk's death tragic.
I have children and soon to be married, and my heart goes out to his wife and his children because they don't deserve this. He definitely didn't deserve this. And it's just horrible. You know, he was doing what he thought he needed to do to advance democracy.
He also spoke with Vanessa Broussard, a former 12 News anchor who's now an anchor for Lindell TV. She tells us Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, asked her to speak at a future event. She says she's heartbroken.
They couldn't beat him in a debate, so they had to assassinate him. That's the only way they could have beat him. And so it's a really sad day for our country, for our children, for the college kids. So many college kids are heartbroken right now because they looked up to Charlie.
Broussard says it's a sad day in America. We also spoke to Joseph Trahan, the Jefferson County Democratic Party chair.
Yeah, he released a statement yesterday saying that Kirk's death is an assault on democratic discourse. And he went on to say that he prays for his soul and for the family that he leaves behind for the future of political discourse in this country. And 12 News, we're going to continue to update you as more details on Kirk's shooting come to light. So be sure to stick with us on air and online as we learn more.
Developing in Nederland, a family is working to recover after losing their home to a fire over the weekend. They say it started with a wire sparking within the walls of their bathroom. Now their 3 young children don't have a place to call home. Homeowner Whitney Savant says they were running errands Saturday. When they got home, her husband pulled back a curtain to the kitchen and smoke filled the room. Thankfully they got out, but they watched from the road as their home burned.
This house means absolutely everything to us. It's the only house that my children know. Our whole entire life is here. Every memory, our kids' first steps. It's our whole entire everything.
And we have a link to the GoFundMe started by a family friend on our website.
Time's now 7:07, and we are hearing from the Texas Municipal Police Association after Pinehurst Police Chief Stephen Stroud was suspended. He was also acting as the interim city manager. Now, TMPA Regional Attorney Marcia Todd levied a number of concerns about Stroud, and they go back 3 months when the group was notified by a former officer about Stroud's behavior. The officer claimed that he terminated them without due process, and then that officer later reached a settlement with the city. Todd also claimed that Stroud hired officers with questionable backgrounds, allegations that she feels the council took seriously.
They were in a closed session for about 3 hours before a decision was made, and from talking to other people in the audience, that's really unusual. The meetings last typically 30 minutes together, all together. And they were in a closed session for 3 hours total. So that tells me they took TMPA's allegations very seriously.
And 12 News is working to learn who will take over for Stroud during her suspension. It's been a month since Beaumont ISD students were back to school.
And this year they went back to school without their phones. The district and staff say it's making all the difference, with students paying more attention to teachers and each other. 12 News reporter Ebony Coleman has more.
Kids are actually really conversing more with their instructor, conversing more with themselves.
Districts across Texas have enforced a new law requiring all communication devices be put away during the school day. Beaumont ISD spent almost $250,000 to purchase Yonder pouches for kids to put their phones in.
Every student has the ability to place their phone, their earphones, their smartwatches in the pouch.
Randall Maxwell is the Senior Director of Student Support at BISD. He says students have to lock their phones in at the beginning of the day.
So you would just put it on the base, push it, opens it up, place your cell phone into the pouch.
A process that takes about 5 minutes to do. One BISD grandmother who didn't want to go on camera says she wishes the district started using the pouches years ago.
The Yonder pouches are actually good for them to have so they can stay focused in school, because while they had their phones, they are steady on their phones and they're not paying any attention to the teachers. And that's when their studies go down and their grades go down.
But there have been some issues at the high schools.
There are YouTubes about how to break into And basically when you say break into, you're unlocking your system. So those things are happening.
Maxwell says if students break the rules, there are consequences.
If they damage the pouch, there is a $30 cost to replace the pouch. It ranges from your parent being called, but also if it continues, it could be ISS.
But he says the positive effects outweighs the bad for the district.
The beauty of it is that the majority of our students are doing exactly what we want them to do, which again is leading to more engagement.
In Beaumont, Ebony Coleman, 12 News.
All right, still ahead here on Daybreak on 12 News Plus, a new Senate bill could mean when high school sports fans get out of hand, it's one strike and you're out. Plus, a woman bites a dog. Yes, you heard that right. And a new trick to score free breakfast. Your trending news is coming up at 7:11.
We begin with breaking news in Port Neches.
Firefighters continue attacking the flames from the air.
We're working to learn more about a police chase.
We'll give you a live look at the scene tonight. Our crew there.
A chase in Port Neches turned into a standoff.
So we're working to get you more information.
We're going to keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
I wouldn't say that I was like a partier, but I would say that I was a social butterfly. So we would just always drink. That night, I went through a red light and I T-boned another vehicle. And I just remember thinking like, oh no. Right after the DWI, I lost my license and I did 30 days in jail. I could have killed him because I decided to be reckless. I have a ton of regrets. I'm Katie. 5 years ago, I got a DWI, and I'm still paying for it every day.
As tropical activity picks up in the Gulf, 12 News is your hurricane headquarters. Get prepared before a storm hits. Watch the 12 News Hurricane Special, streaming on 12 News Plus. From the must-haves in your supply kit to the evacuation routes you'll need to take, plus safety tips and how you can protect yourself from storm scammers. The 12 News Hurricane Special, keeping you prepared. Sponsored by Entergy. We power life.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, "Don't mess with Texas," means we gotta step up, walk the walk. Do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all these miles, all these traditions, for all us Texans, don't mess with Texas means don't litter.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn here with one of the most important hurricane tips, having an evacuation plan. First, gather food, water, and medicine before storing it in an emergency kit. Plan well in advance where you're going, how you'll get there, and if you'll need to transport any pets, small children, or the elderly. For more hurricane tips, go to 12newsnow.com/hurricane.
Sponsored by Entergy. We power life.
And tomorrow, the Bridge City Cardinals are going to take on the Orangefield Bobcats in our game of the week, the Bayou Bowl. That's going to be a battle between these two undefeated teams. Kickoff, that's at 7 p.m. at FL McLean Stadium in Orange. And also be sure to get your vote in for the Band of the Week. It's the Cardinals Band versus the Bobcats Band. So head on over to 12newsnow.com/band to cast your vote. I'll also be at Orangefield tomorrow for their pep rally. All right, it's no secret that Texans are passionate about high school sports, and that means fans can sometimes get out of hand, but a new state law can mean one strike and you're out. Lindsay Leapman takes a deep dive into what Senate Bill 2929 means for you.
When parents become a problem, it can spill out of the stands and into the hands of law enforcement.
The fun part of going to a baseball game or a basketball game is to kind of razz the referee some, but we're kind of getting to the point now where it's turning from just razzing them to confronting them in the parking lot or coming onto the field or coming onto the court.
This incident at a Clifton basketball game ended up in another type of court. As police chief and a youth sports official, Chris Blanton says there's already a shortage of referees.
We don't have enough umpires to cover all the games, and I know basketball and football, they're in the same boat, and it's because of the abuse that they put up with from fans over most of the time they're judgment calls. The fact that fans, they act like they can't understand that or don't want to, it's extremely frustrating and aggravating.
With the new one-strike rule, there's a zero-tolerance policy for bad behavior in the stands. Officials don't have to give a warning. There's immediate ejection authority and no appeal process. Salado dad and referee Richard Bowles says it's a step in the right direction.
It allows us to maybe control the fan base a little bit more, where in the past we had very little control or say over the fan base. Now, if we have fans that get to the point where they really disrupt the game, we have the bandwidth without any okays from anybody. We just say this fan needs to go, and then the fan is obviously escorted out of the stadium.
If a school gets 3 strikes, they could face the possibility of no longer having officials assigned to games. And Temple ISD Athletic Director Steve Prentice says the consequences for parents are strict too.
It can carry on to every event on campus. You make a mistake and lose your temper on that at a football game, you might not get to come to graduation. And so we remind them of that this carries over for all events, not just the sporting event.
Good morning. Clear skies across southeast Texas for this morning. Here's the view from the Horseman's Western Store. As we look off towards the west, it looks like traffic is going along smoothly here. If you're heading out to work here pretty soon, right now it's about 7:16. Our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network currently showing 76 in orange, humidity at 97% with a north wind at about 7 to 8 miles an hour. Watching radar right along the coast, there are a few showers that have popped up. They're generally tracking off towards the west, so I think most of these just miss us off towards the south and head over towards, it looks like Galveston Bay. Maybe Bolivar could get a few showers out there for this morning. A couple of showers up towards Arkansas, northeast Texas, seeing maybe a couple of showers for this morning. Futurecast showing nothing for here, maybe a couple of coastal showers, but we'll go with temperatures climbing through the 80s and then eventually into the lower to middle 90s as we get into the afternoon. Expecting a high around 94 here in the Triangle. We'll back off into the 80s this evening, and then we're expecting those 70s as we head into, it looks like tomorrow morning. So it looks like a lot of lower 70s, maybe a few upper 60s towards the lakes. Out in the tropics, Hurricane Center has now outlined a wave coming off the African coast. They say has a potential for maybe developing right now over the next 7 days. They only give it a 30% chance of developing. And some of the long-range computer models trying to develop something out in the Atlantic, but it keeps it out in the Atlantic. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a long way out there. We've got over a week or so away if this would be affecting the East Coast or the Gulf or the Caribbean or anything like that. Right now, it doesn't look like any of those areas are going to be affected by this, but we'll watch it. Our forecast for today, mostly sunny. East winds at about 3 to 8. Temperatures there anywhere from 92 to 94 for today. And then we back down into those lower 70s for tonight. Some middle 70s towards the coast, maybe even some upper 60s in the lakes area to start off on your Friday morning. 7-day forecast continue to show dry weather all the way through the middle of next week. We won't see much except for maybe a couple of clouds here and there. One day it might be mostly sunny. Next day it might be partly cloudy. So we won't see a whole lot of change there. And then morning lows and highs also stay about the same. Morning lows will be anywhere from about 73 to about 75. And then our afternoon highs will looking at temperatures generally between say about 93 and 95. So we are looking at some hot weather, dry weather, and not much more. Not a lot of change out there.
Hot weather, dry weather, but no rainy weather.
Yeah.
Okay, we're okay with that.
Okay, all right.
This is what we asked for. It was raining a lot. And
yeah, you were begging for just a whole week of dry weather. We've been seeing it now for a little bit.
Now you're about to say we need rain. See?
Yeah, we could use some rain, but we'll have to wait and see until maybe next week.
All right. No. Well, just a reminder, you can download our app at any time to get the latest on the weather. Check the radar by going to the radar tab in the app. All right, little twist to things. I'm going to do some trending news with Jeff. And trending this morning, an Orlando woman who went above and beyond to save her little dog from a pit bull attack. We're talking about 70-year-old Shirley, who weighs only 90 pounds. Guess what she did? She decided to bite that pit bull back. She said he came out of nowhere and she ended up on the ground and didn't know what else to do. So she gave him a taste of his own medicine. And it worked. What's worse, the pit's owner just casually walks up, grabs his dog, and strolls away. Shirley says, unfortunately, she didn't get a good look at him. Thankfully, 14-year-old Sparky is doing okay. As you can see, Shirley says he's helped her through some hard times, and she felt it was only right to do the same.
It's not recommended that you bite the pit bull back.
Well, most people run from pits, but Shirley bit it.
I can understand maybe not running, you kind of stand your ground a little bit, but you don't, fight it.
And then she did it for a while, too, if you really pay attention to the video.
So,
all right. Well,
brave lady.
Well, get ready to relive the magic. Toy Story is hitting theaters again this September to celebrate its 30th anniversary. Pixar changed the world of animation 30 years ago with the first ever fully computer animated feature film. Toy Story wasn't just a movie, it was a game changer, sparking a whole new era of filmmaking. And there's not a bad movie in the bunch. Whether you grew up with it or just discovering the franchise, this is the perfect chance to see it on the big screen again. Toy Story will be in movie theaters starting tomorrow. I love Toy Story.
Yeah, and like I said, the animation at that time was like,
Right.
wow, what is going on? Yeah.
So that was like the first time that you could see cartoons and stuff.
What kind of that type of that cartoony animation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I love Toy Story. All right. Moving on, a growing number of people are sneaking into hotels for free breakfast. With grocery prices soaring, it's no surprise most people are turning into brunch burglars as a way to cut costs. Reddit threads are full of tips from these freeloaders offering advice on how to score a free meal. One user suggests simply walking into a mid-tier hotel, heading to the bathroom for a bit, then strolling up to the breakfast bar like you belong there. TikTokers are getting in on the action, showing just how easy it is to grab food without ever checking into a room. Apparently, the budget-friendly hotels are the easiest targets, but even then, you might want to tread carefully. Free breakfast may sound tempting, but it's always best to stick to the rules. I always wondered if people could like sneak in and do that.
I wouldn't do it. I would never do it.
You wouldn't?
You know, it's going to get to the point where they're going to be like, you want breakfast? I need to see your room key.
Yeah.
You know, I need to see your room key. That's what's going to happen.
That's what they should do, though, because you pay for that free breakfast.
Yeah. The paying customers go down and get me some sausage and eggs, and nothing there. But the 3 kids over there who just kind of snuck in off the street are eating
all that good food. Mm-hmm. All right. Finally, there's a new M&M flavor coming out. Peanut fans, get ready to level up with the new honey roasted peanut M&Ms. The Mars Candy Company says it's a perfect blend of crunch with a touch of sweetness, and it'll be a permanent addition to the M&Ms lineup. You can find them in stores and online later this month.
Sounds good.
I'm not a fan. I don't like peanut butter though.
Well, it's just honey roasted peanuts. So.
I mean, if it's a flavor, I'll just skip that one.
Okay.
You know, like Starburst. No one likes yellow. You know, we just skip the yellow.
So you don't
Starburst.
like peanut M&Ms, you just like the plain.
Yeah, I don't like peanut at all. I eat a jelly sandwich. You didn't know that, huh? Growing up, I told my parents no peanut butter, just jelly. It would just be a big old jelly.
Yeah, I don't like peanut butter except when it's with chocolate. Then I do.
So you like Reese's?
Yeah.
See, I don't do Reese's either.
No, well, but I don't do peanut butter and jelly. I just don't like the taste.
Yeah.
No.
Try a jelly sandwich. All right, it's 7:23. Taking a live look at Orange from our Roofing 911 Skycam network. Jeff will be back again with another look at your forecast.
This is a tornado on the ground.
And the roads are slippery.
We have a tropical storm warning.
Look at this water.
Street flooding in Beaumont.
It is going to get extremely cold.
The metal building blew away from a business.
Staying safe behind the wheel is imperative.
Find a safe spot, move to an interior room.
Just make sure you're staying safe.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
The STEM fields are providing opportunity to be part of the developments that will shape the future, and the Army National Guard is at the forefront of the movement. Soldiers can serve part-time and choose from dozens of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics jobs, working with cutting-edge technology and innovations. And the skills and experience they receive can open doors for them to civilian careers in the STEM world. Join a team that is taking the lead in STEM by talking to a local recruiter or by going to nationalguard.com/careers.
409 Sports. To us, it's about so much more than a highlight, wins or losses.
It's the heart that makes up the game, the triumph of the human spirit.
It's agony and victory, diehards and day ones, It can divide or unify a community.
We give you the stats, but then we inspire you with the stories. The unpredictable, unforgettable, and incomparable.
We bring it to you all because sports lives in the 409.
No matter where we start, every mile brings us closer. And as Texans, we take care of each other along the way. We lend a hand, slow down, and take our time. At the end of the day, we all want to get home safe. Drive like a Texan. Kind, courteous, and safe.
I'm meteorologist Kerry Cooper here with another hurricane tip. Stay connected. Sign up for free emergency alerts from your local county and plan on to monitor the latest local weather and news at 12newsnow.com. Being aware of any new information will be invaluable. And finally, know the types of alerts you may receive. A watch means be prepared, while a warning means act. For more hurricane tips, go to 12newsnow.com/hurricane.
Sponsored by Entergy. We power life.
Welcome back at the bus stop this morning. Warm temperatures into the lower 70s, upper 80s at recess, and then hot going home with temperatures into the middle 90s. Along the coast today, your forecast calling for an east wind at 10 to 15 knots, seas around 2 feet. Light chop on the inland lakes and bays. Only one high tide left. That's at 8:02 for tonight. Our sunset tonight's at 7:26.
And coming up on Daybreak here on 12 News Plus, Southeast Texans on both sides of the aisles are reacting to the tragic death of Charlie Kirk. Hear from a shaking witness and a local woman who was poised to work with him.
Plus, the suspect in a Dallas machete attack had a criminal history out of Houston. Details from those who saw the horror happening in broad daylight.
And with so much heavy news today, a celebration of a remarkable milestone. The pilot who just marked his 1,000th Angel flight, getting strangers the life-saving medical care they need. We'll be right back. Good morning, Southeast Texas. Thanks for joining us here on Daybreak on 12 News Plus. I'm Mark Armstrong.
And I'm Tia Johnson. Your time now is 7:30. Let's take a look at your top stories this morning. Help is being organized for a Nederland family after their home burned down over the weekend. They say it started with a wire sparking within the walls of their bathroom. Now their 3 young children don't have a place to call home. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but they watched their home burn. We have a link to the GoFundMe started by a family friend on our website.
The TCEQ has approved a request for Golden Triangle Polymers to dump millions of gallons of wastewater. The plant's now going to be able to dump more than 5 million gallons of water a day into the Sabine River. This includes processed water, utility wastewater, and stormwater.
The TCEQ also approved a fine against Chevron Phillips's Port Arthur facility yesterday. The agency says the plant let out unauthorized emissions back in 2022. The plant will have to pay $6,000 to the state. They'll send another $6,000 to a program that helps low-income homeowners. Switching gears now to take a look outside from our Roofing 911 SkyCam network. Looking at the skies of Beaumont right now, meteorologist Jeff Gerber has your forecast.
And you can see clear skies out there, and temperatures are back into the lower 70s for most of southeast Texas, actually showing 68 right now in Jasper, but 71 in Beaumont, also Kirbyville and Woodville's at about 71, then 72 in Silsbee, 73 in Orange. A little warmer down towards the coast there. Port Arthur currently showing 77. Outside, we have mostly clear skies, not only southeast Texas, but southwest Louisiana as well. You can see the sun coming up over the horizon on this Thursday morning. Looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet day, but a hot day. We're expecting to see temperatures go from around 80 at 9 a.m. to the lower to middle 90s as we get into the afternoon, expecting a high of about 94. Dry and hot through the next several days. We'll have your 7-day forecast and weather in just a little bit.
Thank you, Jeff. Flags in southeast Texas and at the White House are flying at half-staff this morning for Charlie Kirk. The conservative youth activist was shot and killed in Utah yesterday, and the governor of Utah calling Kirk's death a political assassination. The 31-year-old was speaking at Utah Valley University when the shot rang out. This morning, the FBI confirms that the suspect remains at large, and all this comes after the first person who was thought to be the suspect was also released.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the latest on the investigation.
This morning, a massive manhunt for the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. The conservative activist was taking questions from students at Utah Valley University about mass shootings in America when a single shot rang out.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Thousands were in the crowd watching as a witness recalled the horrific scene.
I was 15 feet away, and it was really hard to witness. As the guy said shooting or shooters or something like that, you just hear the gunshot and I'm sorry, you just see his neck just like open up and there's just like so much blood that just came out. It was horrible.
The Utah Department of Public Safety initially took 2 people into custody but later released them. And as of this morning, the manhunt for the suspected shooter continues. A motive for the shooting remains unclear, but Utah Republican Governor Spencer Cox called it a political assassination.
Our nation is broken. We've had political assassinations recently in Minnesota. We had an attempted assassination on the governor of Pennsylvania. And we had an attempted assassination on a presidential candidate and former president of the United States, and now current president of the United States.
Charlie Kirk was a conservative commentator who founded Turning Point USA and who was known for reaching out to young conservative voters. He took a stand against abortion and most forms of immigration while stoking controversy by promoting election fraud claims, challenging LGBTQ rights, and ridiculing climate science. Earlier this year, Kirk saying his views put him at risk of violence.
You are potentially putting your safety, your well-being, and God forbid, your life in jeopardy for simply being a conservative on a college campus.
Now the reactions are coming in from Southeast Texas Republicans.
Yeah, we spoke with the Jefferson County Republican Party Chair Joe Evans. He condemned the violence, calling Kirk's death tragic.
And it's just horrible. You know, he was doing what he thought he needed to do to advance democracy. He was exercising his First Amendment rights, and he was doing what he could to activate people and get people involved. That violence is never the answer. And if you don't agree with someone, you take your anger and your aggressions out at the polls.
And we also spoke with Vanessa Broussard, a former 12 News anchor who's now an anchor for Lindell TV. And she tells us that Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, asked her to speak at a future event, and now she's heartbroken over his death.
There's really no words. I'm in shock right now, just like the rest of the nation is. You know, Charlie did nothing wrong. Charlie Kirk was a firm believer in God, in family, in faith, in freedom. And that's all he preached. Now here we are with a wrecked family, all at the hands of evil, and it's just so heartbreaking.
And she says if we can come together as a country, we'll see that we are more alike than we are different. Now, we also spoke to Joseph Trahan, that's the Jefferson County Democratic Party chair.
Yeah, he released a statement yesterday saying Kirk's death is an assault on democratic discourse. He went on to say, I pray for his soul, for the family he leaves behind, and for the future of political discourse in this country. 12 News will continue to update you as new details come to light. Stick with us on air and online. Now to an update in yesterday's school shooting in Colorado. Police say 2 teens were injured when another teen started shooting at Evergreen High School.
Yeah, that's near Denver. Investigators, they say the suspect later shot himself. Now, all 3 teens, they were rushed to the hospital where that shooter died Wednesday night. Law enforcement, they identified that shooter as a 16-year-old student, but did not release his name. The district superintendent made it clear that the safety of students is their #1 priority.
Safety requires vigilance, partnership, and the unflinching belief that our children deserve better. We cannot pretend that this is just another tragic incident.
Investigators haven't released a possible motive or an update on the injuries. All right, and now to the latest on a violent crime out of Dallas.
A man is charged with murder after he beheaded another man, repeatedly hacking at him with a machete. The horrific scene unfolded yesterday in a motel parking lot. Tenants and guests watched as the 37-year-old attacked his co-worker over and over. The suspect, Jordanis Cabos Martinez, had a warrant out for his arrest in California for a probation violation on an attempted carjacking. He was reportedly naked when he tried to yank a woman out of her car by her hair to steal a vehicle. While awaiting trial, he was also arrested in Houston in 2018 for aggravated assault. As for yesterday's incident, a witness told our sister station in Dallas the attack lasted several minutes, slash after slash.
Yeah, we want to warn you, her account of what happened next, very disturbing.
Just kept hitting and hitting until he decapitated him. He kicked the head, and then he picked it up, and then he threw it in the trash can.
The victim, a 50-year-old man named Chandra Nagamalia. He was known as Bob the manager at the hotel where both men worked. No word yet on a motive. And we are also hearing from the Texas Municipal Police Association after Pinehurst Police Chief Stephen Stroud was suspended.
He was also acting as interim city manager. TMPA Regional Attorney Marcia Todd levied a number of concerns about Stroud. They go back 3 months when the group was notified by a former officer about Stroud's behavior. That officer claimed he terminated them without due process and later reached a settlement with the city. Todd also claimed that Stroud hired officers with questionable backgrounds, allegations she feels the council took seriously.
They were in a closed session for about 3 hours before a decision was made, and from talking to other people in the audience, that's really unusual. The meetings last typically 30 minutes to get, altogether. And they were in a closed session for 3 hours total. So that tells me they took TMPA's allegations very seriously.
12 News is working to learn who will take over for Stroud during his suspension.
And with so much dark news around the country this morning, we want to introduce you to a Houston area pilot who's quietly given his time, money, and even his own plane to provide others with angel flights. For years, he's flown patients where they need to go to get life-saving medical care, and he just hit a milestone that nothing is short of remarkable.
People gathered in Sugar Land yesterday for his 1,000th angel flight mission. Michelle Choi has the story.
Sugar Land Tower, runway 35, clear land traffic depart prior.
At Sugar Land Regional Airport, cheers and a water cannon salute.
What a blessing that he is, and he's undoubtedly helped save people's lives. So this is just the least we can do to have
warm welcome for his 1,000th Angel flight here today.
That pilot, Hogan Brian Brooks, a Houston native who's been flying for 40 years. For the last 4.5, he's volunteered with Angel Flight, a nonprofit arranging free flights for patients in need of medical care. In that time, he's logged more than 372,000 miles. That's 15 times around the Earth.
How big of a surprise was this for you?
Huge surprise. I was expecting, a couple of people, but not a fire truck in a in a whole parade. A little overwhelmed, but blessed.
By FAA rules, pilots can't be reimbursed, so Brooks has spent millions of his own dollars flying nearly 5 missions a week.
Do you realize how many people you've helped over the years?
I haven't counted, but no, I don't. I don't keep track.
But the numbers don't lie. More than 400 patients helped.
Tumors have almost shrunk 60%, and I wouldn't be able to be here every 2 weeks if it wasn't for Angel Flight. I'm just very grateful, very thankful.
Like most Angel Flight passengers, Jan is a cancer patient making regular trips into Houston for treatment at the Texas Medical Center. She's flown with Brian 25 times, including today, all for free.
He's just has a love of flying and a love of caring for people. And I'm fortunate to be one of those.
So why does he keep doing it? Brooks says it's about giving back and what he gets in return.
Seeing the smiles on their faces.
And at 56, Brooks says he has no plans of stopping.
How much longer do you want to do this for?
The insurance company will probably tell me I can't fly anymore at 70, so if I can make it that far, then that's how far I'll go.
Sweet story there. Up next, on this September 11th, we remember the attack on the World Trade Center. The events happening today in remembrance. And still ahead, Golden Triangle growth in Port Arthur, the big plans for a new hike and bike trail on Pleasure Island. Your time now 7:41.
When industry news breaks, we're on the front lines, digging into the issue.
Lamar is working to protect Power City from hackers.
Filtering out rumors and giving you the facts, direct from inside sources.
ExxonMobil and lawyers for the United Steelworkers.
Taking on the story from all sides.
The company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection last year.
Southeast Texas is a power city, and we're bringing the power to you. 12 News, putting Southeast Texas first.
As Texans, we have many reasons to be proud of the Lone Star State. Showing our pride by saying, don't mess with Texas, means we gotta step up, walk the walk. Do our part to keep Texas clean. Because after all these years, all these miles, all these traditions, for all us Texans, don't mess with Texas means don't litter.
It's hard to really come to terms with dementia. There are little things that you can't even begin to plan for that happen that you need the early diagnosis for. My mom has done so much for me. There's no way that I wouldn't do the same for her. It's so important to have the conversation with your doctor earlier because you just do not know what the future holds.
We begin with breaking news in Port Neches.
Firefighters continue attacking the flames from the air.
We're working to learn more about a police chase.
We'll give you a live look at the scene tonight. Our crew there.
A chase in Port Neches turned into a standoff.
So we're working to get you more information.
We're going to keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage on 12 News Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
I'm meteorologist Kerry Cooper here with another hurricane tip, evacuating correctly. If local authorities advise you to evacuate, do so immediately and without delay. Bring your emergency kit and be sure to follow evacuation routes. Do not try to take shortcuts because they may be blocked. Also remember to eat and get enough sleep for you to deal with whatever stress that may come your way. For more hurricane tips, go to 12newsnow.com/hurricane.
Sponsored by Entergy. We power life.
24 years ago today, terrorists hijacked 4 planes flying over the United States. 2 of those planes hit the Twin Towers at the World Trade Center in New York City. One hit the Pentagon in Virginia, and the fourth crashed on its way to Washington, D.C. The attacks killed nearly 3,000 Americans, forever changing our country. Many of us here in Southeast Texas remember that day vividly. In honor of Patriot Day today, the city of Beaumont is hosting a 9/11 memorial service. It'll be at 9 a.m. at the 9/11 Memorial Garden in Terrell Park. The event is meant to honor the lives lost and remember those who showed incredible bravery during the tragic events back in 2001. Volunteers from Golden Triangle RSVP will mark today with acts of service as part of the September 11th National Day of Service and Remembrance. The 7th annual United Service Never Forget event will be held at Rockin' Cafe. Veterans, military members, and first responders are invited to a free luncheon from 11:30 to 1. Uniforms are encouraged but not required.
Outside we have clear skies across southeast Texas. Here's the view from Jasper. See, the sun is up and going for this morning. This camera brought you by Parvalis. Looks like some folks are also up and going up in Jasper as the roadway's looking a little busy here right before 8 o'clock. Folks trying to get to work by 8 a.m. Our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network in Jasper showing just clear skies, quiet conditions up there. Jasper was in the upper 60s right now at about 70 degrees. 70 also in Beaumont, 74 in Orange, 72 in Silsbee, Woodville and Kirbyville at 71, and then Port Arthur currently at about 77. Pretty quiet. We've had a couple of showers trying to kind of encroach on the coast through parts of Chambers County over towards Bolivar, maybe a few showers there, but overall very quiet across the state except for coastal Texas where we're seeing a few showers, have a few showers through Arkansas, but those are kind of trending off towards the east, not towards the south in our direction. So we'll go with dry weather today. Temperatures climbing through the 80s this morning. By lunchtime we'll get near 90, and then I think highs today around 92 to 94. So it's going to be another hot afternoon. Lots of sunshine, maybe a few clouds late in the afternoon. That's about it. And then we'll quiet back down into the 80s for this evening, and then eventually 70s for tomorrow morning. Might see some upper 60s towards the lakes, but I think a lot of southeast Texas will see some lower 70s as we get into your Friday morning. Out in the Atlantic, there's another little wave coming off the coast of Africa that the Hurricane Center says they're going to be watching now for the next several days. They give it about a 30% chance of formation over the next 7 days, so not a great chance there. And some of the computer models indicating it's going to be just kind of staying out in the open Atlantic if it does form. So we'll be watching it, let you keep you updated, but right now not a big concern here for the Gulf. Our forecast for today, mostly sunny. No rain expected with an east wind at 3 to about 8 miles an hour. Our highs at about 92 to 94. Back into the lower 70s for the most part tonight, and we'll see maybe a few upper 60s towards the lakes with a little bit of a light and variable wind. As we look at our 7-day forecast, not much rain out there. We'll go with a dry forecast all the way through the middle of next week, and we'll be kind of seeing a cloud here or there, but nothing to really write home about. One day might be partly cloudy, another day mostly sunny. But a few clouds here and there each day. As we look at afternoon highs, anywhere between about, say, 93 and 95. Morning lows between about 72 and 75. Yeah, 72 and 75. But very quiet.
Hopefully we'll continue to tap on down on these 90s just a little bit, I bet you, by the end of the month there.
Yeah, I mean, days are getting shorter, so that energy to get us into the 90s each afternoon will start to dwindle down a little bit. So hopefully we'll start to see regularly highs in the 80s by the time we get towards the end of the month.
I don't love 90s, but you know, as long as it's not the hundreds, that's basically how I feel.
We haven't gotten to 100 the whole year. I doubt if we get there. I mean, there are still records on these through September that have been in the 100s, but I don't see anything pushing us up to 100 degrees anytime soon.
Sounds like a good year to me. Thank you,
Yep.
Jeff. All right, don't forget to get in your nominations for the 12 News Golden Apple Award, and that can be a teacher or anyone in the field of education. Just head on over to 12newsnow.com/goldenapple to tell us who you think deserves this honor.
An abandoned golf course is getting a makeover and a new purpose. The Pleasure Island 18-hole course hasn't been used since 2008. 12 News spoke with members of the team who hope to transform the front nine into a multi-use green space.
Yeah, here's reporter Spencer Plato with more.
It's better for the development, it's better for your peace, your health. So let's get outside.
From tee boxes to tree lots, now being transformed to a multi-use green space.
that capitalizes on the opportunity to get out, hike and bike, and engage with the community. And we want to restore the habitat for the birds, native and migrating birds.
The Palms Golf Course closed in 2008 when Hurricane Ike forced the course's final rounds.
The golf course sat underwater and there was heavy damage to the sprinkler system and that type of thing. So that's when it ceased operating as a golf course.
Devon Chagua and his team with Lamar's Center for Advances in Water and Air Quality are working with Port Arthur's Visitor Bureau, Lone Star Coastal Alliance, and the City of Port Arthur. The goal is to restore 60 to 75 acres that used to be the front 9 and transform them into a 2.5-mile long trail.
This would be the perfect idea. It puts everything together: habitat restoration, community engagement, and flooding and pollution.
Not only will the green space be used for hiking and biking trails, but they hope it'll attract more bird watchers to the area.
We know we have many of those coming to our area to bird. So anything we can do to increase birding sites, to develop birding sites.
Tammy Kutzer with the Port Arthur Visitor Bureau says 13,400 bird watchers came to Port Arthur last year.
Tourism for us is a lot of outdoor activity, fishing, birding. So birding last year had a $6.1 million economic impact for Port Arthur.
Chagua says they hope to add picnic areas, pollinator gardens, bird food, trees, and native plants. He says it'll take time for the space to transform.
We're going to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and being very thorough and make sure this is going to be state of the art for Southeast Texas.
In Pleasure Island, Spencer Plato, 12 News.
All right, check this out. It's the chubbiest showdown of the year, Fat Bear Week. It's almost here, and it is the competition that you never knew that you needed.
Yeah, from September 23rd to the 30th, bears in Katmai National Park, Alaska, will be battling it out to see who's the heaviest in town. These Alaskan brown bears are in serious bulk mode, packing on up to 4 pounds a day. By the end of it, some bears are tipping the scales at over 1,200 pounds. It's all happening live with 8 cameras capturing the action, including an underwater view of the bears munching on fresh fish. And don't forget about the cubs. Fat Bear Jr. kicks off September 18th with their own adorable competition.
That's a lot of picnic baskets right there.
Definitely.
That's what Yogi used to do. Him and Boo Boo, they used to go after all those picnic baskets.
All right, when Daybreak returns on 12 News Plus, we'll have more news and weather in your morning rush out.
As tropical activity picks up in the Gulf, 12 News is your hurricane headquarters. Get prepared before a storm hits. Watch the 12 News Hurricane Special, streaming on 12 News Plus. From the must-haves in your supply kit to the evacuation routes you'll need to take, plus safety tips and how you can protect yourself from storm scammers. The 12 News Hurricane Special, keeping you prepared. Sponsored by Entergy. We power life.
No matter where we start, every mile brings us closer. And as Texans, we take care of each other along the way. We lend a hand, slow down, and take our time. At the end of the day, we all want to get home safe. Drive like a Texan. Kind, courteous, and safe.
The impact killed my dad and brother instantly. A man, after drinking excessively with his co-workers, ran a stop sign, T-boned my parents' Honda, and destroyed our family. He could have just said, hey, I'm not okay. There's Lyft, there's Uber, there's taxis. There's so many other options. Every day, someone else can be taken away.
The STEM fields are providing opportunity to be part of the developments that will shape the future, and the Army National Guard is at the forefront of the movement. Soldiers can serve part-time and choose from dozens of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics jobs, working with cutting-edge technology and innovations. And the skills and experience they receive can open doors for them to civilian careers in the STEM world. Join a team that is taking the lead in STEM by talking to a local recruiter or by going to nationalguard.com/careers.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn, here with some hurricane tips for protecting yourself against flooding.
Take shelter in a designated storm shelter or an interior room and stay away from glass windows of doors. And if flooding begins, move to higher ground immediately. Never walk, swim, or drive through floodwaters. Remember, turn around, don't drown. For more hurricane tips, go to 12newsnow.com/hurricane.
Sponsored by Entergy.
Welcome back to Daybreak. It's 7:55 right now, and it's time for your morning rush out.
Here's everything you need to know as you start your day. Southeast Texans on both sides of the aisle are reacting after conservative youth activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed in Utah yesterday. Jefferson County Republican Party Chair Joe Evans condemning the violence, as Joseph Trahan, the Jefferson County Democratic Party Chair, says it was an assault on democratic discourse. Kirk's killer is still out there.
And we are hearing from TMPA after Pinehurst Police Chief Stephen Stroud was suspended. The regional attorney Marcia Todd levied a number of concerns about him after a former officer claimed that he terminated them without due process, saying that he also hired officers with questionable backgrounds. There's been no word yet on who's going to take over during his suspension.
Help is being organized for a Nederland family after their home burned down over the weekend. They say it started with a wire sparking within the walls of their bathroom. Now their 3 young children don't have a place to call home. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but they watched their home burn. We have a link to the GoFundMe started by a family friend on our website.
And steady as she goes as far as our forecast over the next 7 days. We won't see any rain in the forecast, maybe a few clouds from time to time. And our lows stay right there near 73 to 75. Our afternoon highs stay there from about 93 to 95.
Sounds like a broken record on this
Yeah.
weather.
It was a broken record with the rain. Now it's a broken record with
one or the other.
Yeah.
Just remember your sunglasses, y'all. And thanks for watching Daybreak here on 12 News Plus.
We'll be back at 11 a.m. for midday.
Hope everyone has a great day.